Yes, I do miss my Android. Right. The question. Um, do I miss switching to iPhone? All right, let's talk about it. Steven, the fanboy here. All right, so I've been using the iPhone 12 mini for probably 2 months now. And overall, I like it. Now, this isn't my first kind of trip into iOS territory. Uh, it only started about a year or so ago. So I've had a 6S, a 7, an 8 plus, and then I trade that in to get the 12 mini. And it's kind of a end of an era because while I've dabbled in iPhones here and there, I am mostly Android and pretty much a Pixel guy, uh, if you can tell. And the mini, you know, more than anything. Um, so I'm not gonna go into the prompt. By now, you've probably seen the videos and know what this phone is capable of. The drawbacks on it, yes, I know about the battery. Uh, the weaker battery did not scare me. I I rarely have dealt with an all day or 2 day phone, so I knew what I was getting myself into, and I regularly charge my phone throughout the day, regardless. It was not a big deal. Yes, it does die, but I do kind of power use this thing. I hotspot this thing, so I expect the battery not to last a day. It can if I was a lighter user, but I knew what I was getting myself into, so I'm not going to complain about the battery issues. Last iPhone I had before this was the 8 Plus. So this was a huge jump within video and photo quality. It was also my first introduction into Face ID, right? Face unlock, something like Face ID. And I admit, I like it. Kind of just how quick it is, unlocks and everything. Uh, so spec wise, this is better than the Android I use. For reference, I do have a couple phones, but the main phone that I go back to is my Pixel 3 XL. Um, and this one has a much better processor. The video quality is great. I'm not going to complain about the phone. I'm still keeping the phone. But why did I get this phone in the first place? If I already knew iOS is not somewhere where I want to live, I'm surprised that I actually went 2 whole months with my SIM card in this thing. I like to look at it as someone who carries around a Pixel and an iPhone, going on vacation, staying at a hotel, a nice hotel. Eventually, I get homesick and I keep running back to Google. So, one reason I got this thing was the content creation. So normally, for foreseeable future, until I can get a more pro camera, I'm using smartphones as my camera. I'm recording this on a smartphone, and I want to record it on this phone. Although it would normally, I would be recording my videos on this phone, which is one of the key reasons I got this phone. Is it can record in 4K 60 on the front side of the camera, which is that is one of the main features. The video quality, the size, even though people complain about the size, uh, since I have been a two phone kind of guy for a while now, having one of my phones be smaller is actually a bonus because like the plus having a iPhone 8 Plus in my one pocket and the XL in the other pocket was just it was uncomfortable. So with this, I get a far better processor, although not as good battery life. Agreed, but what I trade off is a much better tool. So one of the only reasons I keep going back to iOS was to have the best of both worlds. There are some exclusive apps that only work on iOS, like Clubhouse. Even though I'm on there and I fail to actually make use of things. So somewhat backfired, but I'm investing. I like the CarPlay, but like I said, that's kind of why I've gone into keep an iPhone around just so I can keep myself in that world to get into the App Store because there are some things that I need the iOS store for business reasons. And the other reason I have this thing is the ecosystem. Yeah, you've heard of before. And two things. I have a small Apple ecosystem. In fact, it's this and my iPad. That is it. That is the only other iOS devices that I have, and I'm not really planning on getting more than that. I seen the M1s. They're tempting. I'm not gonna lie. The M1 Max, the Mini, and they just released the iMac. Depending on where you're watching this, they're tempting. They're tempting. But as of right now, it's the small mobile. That's what I'm using it for. It is my move to the second slot because there are some things that I just miss from my Pixel. I'm getting those more scam calls are more annoying because I don't have that hold that Google doesn't say. I can't remember what it was, but it basically is like an answering service. It like intercepts the calls, and kind of a little like it's like having the assistant answers the call for you. It blocks a lot of spam calls. I miss the call features that are on my Pixel. The camera works great. The video in this is better, but I still honestly prefer the pictures that come out of my Pixel. So that is it. It's still going to my second phone, and I've been cheating because even though I rock this as my main phone, I've been carrying around the Android as tag along, and I've been hotspotting it so I can still use it because there are things that I just miss about the Android operating system that it is hard to live without. Even though this phone is a great phone. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. This is Steven, the fanboy. See you next time. Man, who tried to call me?